Santosh, this is the first time we've actually had more than like 3 words together, so I'm really excited to kind of learn. Peter and I have known each other for a long time, guys. Thanks so much for joining us here on the live stream and the show. You know, we've kind of asked the question of everyone, so why not keep the streak alive? But what do the holidays look like for you all? And we'll start with you. What does these next couple of weeks look like? Is it just head down, we're in the dealership, or is there fun to be had?
It's a year end, so it's very busy for us, and of course, upon his invitation, I flew out here to talk to you. As
right.
busy as it is.
You're like, all right, here we go. We're real busy, but I'll be there, right? Peter, what's your family look like?
Well, like Liza said earlier, we're all about tradition, and that's something that we look forward to every year, but something that we're starting new this year. And I told Sarah, Paul's wife, earlier that my kids are all of age now, so we're doing something in Philly called Tipsy Trolley.
Oh, wow.
Tomorrow, actually 2 nights from now, where we're going to get on a trolley at 9 o'clock in the evening, and we're going to spend 2 hours touring the city of Philadelphia, looking at all the lights and BYOB, so the Tipsy Trolley, you get the rest of it. You know?
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to new tradition.
If you haven't ever been to Nashville, you could have done that last night and tonight too, because we got about 83 of them downtown, and it's quite a mess. It's actually, they joke about Nashville for it. Because
so that's the new tradition that will start in 2022 and continue.
Starting new traditions. That's great. Well, let's get into it. So, Santosh, you know, you're operating in a couple different stores, right?
Yes.
But I think we're having a lot of conversations in the industry about data and customer data and centralization and figuring out what is happening. And a lot of the conversations are around these big data sets, you know, large dealer groups and the way that like people are using data to create customer experiences. But in a smaller single point store, you've implemented a CDP to create efficiencies. What led you to that, and why did you see that as an opportunity that you need to take advantage of being a single point store?
Well, regardless of the size, single point or large, I think what Orbee brings to our table is first party data, which is huge. These are the people that we want to be talking to, as opposed to being fed thousands and thousands of names and leads that mean nothing. It could be a bunch of students doing a school project, and we would get sold that as leads. Versus what Orbee brings to the table, first-party data, very rich data set, which when you take the customer through the life cycle, they usually end up buying because it's relevant data.
Yeah, about how many customers do you have in like one of your stores' databases currently? Do you know that
Thousands.
kind of number? Thousands, right?
For sure.
Yeah, and so now you're taking those and kind of moving them through journeys as well as acquiring new data in this ecosystem.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. The first-party data is important because those are the customers that have chosen us as the dealer to do business with. And then we just harness that data to eventually sell them a car, which is an important relationship.
Yeah. Now, do you have a marketing department or a marketing person, or are you leveraging technology to create those efficiencies like a marketing person?
That's a good question. So when Peter and I first started talking, we started talking about Orbee in terms of just data. That morphed into Orbee becoming a virtual marketing office for me. So everything is now under one roof with no duplication, cost savings, and relevancy in terms of, you know, before a year would go by, another company would reach out to me, we would hire them. These two would not talk. It just became one, it was just snowballing into meaning nothing, as opposed to now having one house. When I go to them with a new idea, they tell me they were already doing it because they know it's all under one roof.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Now, Peter, when you're talking to dealers and they're starting to explore this idea of marketing automation or customer data platform, what are some of like the hesitancies that you're seeing, or is it just kind of like, hey, this is a new world, let's figure it out? What in those conversations before someone is utilizing a platform like a customer data platform,
Well, there's a lot of noise out there about CDPs, and that's probably one of the big buzzwords of 2022. And I think when you think about CDP, you know, I think most of them out there are small case CDP, customer data platforms, meaning a data platform that has customers. Your phone is that. But when you have a CDP, you truly have the ability to segment the activities, you know, of what's happening on your website. Liza said it best this morning, which you talked about when they buy new dealerships, the first thing they do is listen, right? Well, that's what a CDP does. It listens to the signals of all the first-party shoppers on a website, and once you learn from all that, then you can gain the efficiencies and target them with the right messaging. You want to give them the right messages based on what they're doing. So And I think the most important thing is that CDP is a small piece of it. I mean, that's just one element, and you heard a tool set earlier. It's all about being able to plug in this entire ecosystem, because the best thing that can happen in 2023 is to allow our dealerships to know more about what's happening in all the different widgets out there. So many vendors out there selling different things. The best thing that can happen is to plug it all in together so that you can serve your customers better. That's really the name of the game.
Yeah, Santosh, as a lot of dealers, you know, we've got NADA earlier in the year, and there's going to be marketing, platforms and CDPs and digital retailing, everything else that everybody's looking at. When you're talking with dealers in your 20 group or other dealers that you know, how are you encouraging them to utilize tech to create these efficiencies? What's the encouragement as others lead into 2023 with tech?
Well, there's a lot of confusion right now about what do we do, how do we go to market, how do we continue talking to our customers. And when we bring up within our 20 group the name Orbee and what they do for us, it starts to make sense, because when you go to like a show at an ADA, there's thousands of vendors selling you many different wares, but how do you bring it all home to make sense for you? And like today, before I got on here, I had a little idea that I ran by a tool by phone today, and he thought about it today, and he said, you know what? Let's circle back next week and let's make it happen. See, that's the difference between just off the shelf kind of software versus these guys who can kind of work to tailor whatever it is that you need to make sense of the data.
Yeah, I think that's a through line that I've seen through a lot of technology platforms, and we heard Alex talking about this, that it's almost like everything comes back to people, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That the relationships that you have, the way that people work with you, the service that you provide can extrapolate everything that you need out of technology. And I'm sure that your people are experiencing some of the efficiencies that you've gained even on the marketing side.
Yes. Yeah, the marketing piece is important because all of this has to mean something to the consumer. Yeah. Because if you're singing a song that doesn't, resonate with them, they're not listening. And so that's where we come in with a focused message to a focused audience that want to hear from us.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what is your encouragement specifically to other dealers? It doesn't have to be tech, but as you're thinking into 2023, what's your encouragement to dealers?
It's to have one solution to go to market with, which makes sense, rather than duplication of efforts and spending money in an environment where things are slowing down for us. And at those times, it's important to save your dollars and to have a focused strategy. And that's what Peter and company and Orbee and company bring to the table.
That's awesome. Well, hey, look, I know that a lot of dealers are continually kind of trying to figure out the tech, the marketing, and in an industry slowdown, it's important to just be thinking of these things. And guys, I really appreciate you joining us today, and
thanks,
thank you for your insights, for sure.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.